It's your boy Matt here. This is Tac0 admin for 19th of November 2025. So I need to describe the core principles behind my behavior. My concern has to be, how do I get all these different people together? How do I keep them together? How do I get them going in a direction? And how can I ensure that I can get incentives in place to keep that happening? So the reason why the biggest thing which makes this situation interesting is that there's this slightly, just like, and I'm using this term like, as you know, not in the fullest extent, but slightly, eccentric, slightly strange guy who had his porn account doxed and then used that to create as much outrage as possible to be able to protest against all these terrible things. It's essentially been about how to violate social norms to maintain attention. Okay? And so that's a core of what's worked. So, and then what of course happens is that then you'll have people defending you, and then you'll have people who are attacking you. Okay? And that creates this lovely media cycle. And that keeps what I'm doing in the public domain and the causes which I champion sort of in the zeitgeist. They get thought about then, right? So it's really important that, like, when I talk about this weird stuff in the participations and how people will be able to participate in the project, the point of it is to be sufficiently controversial whilst also providing the correct incentives that it will continue this cycle. Okay? That's why I have these strange ideas. And the only way to maintain that cycle is for it to be put in as a profit organization, a for-profit organization, and then keeping the people who are directly engaged with the project engaged with the communication through a for-profit medium, even if a significant part of the work is in regard to ethical altruism. But again, the point of what I do is mass marketing and to get a message to a humongous amount of people. That's what I do. That's not something which can be incentivized. I can get people incentivized to be involved in it for a long enough period of time that I'm not going to be able to, have it as something like a not-for-profit. The incentives I need to get people to do what I need them to do are going to require me to give them money. Okay? I need people to spend money to produce work, and I need to have an incentive structure. Now, that brings me to the next point, which is about ethical altruism, which is how do we turn money from the government and community into results for that community? And a big part of ethical altruism is making sure that money in donations ends up having a proportional benefit, the best benefit possible. And there's some charities such as the American Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is particularly horrendous because each meeting with a child and celebrity costs something like $30,000 or $40,000. But there are charities which exist strictly in that sense, and there are charities which exist the Against Malaria foundations, where you can really make a person's life so much better by providing the treatments to stop people from catching malaria, such as having fucking mosquito nets and access to the treatment early on. Now, so there's different categories of charity. What we're doing is promotion. it's a large amount of what it is the incentive structure of how I can keep something going. So you don't get to choose, is this going to be an NGO, this is going to be a business, this is going to be this, right? The decision is defined by what is best for the circumstance, and that's a for-profit company. Right, have a lovely day, everyone.